What's going on, you guys? Bring Your Friends here. A lot of you guys have been asking me what my build was ever since I released my first Mesmer PvP video, and again in my second video, and a lot of times in my third video. I've been really hesitant to give out my spec just because nobody has really ran with it, and I find it to be very successful in 1v1s and in tourney play. I've never really ventured out of this, even though I've tried a lot of experimental builds. But since Halo 4 and a lot of other games are going to be coming out in the next week, I really don't find it necessary to keep it under wraps any longer. But you guys can decide for yourself if it's good or not. I find it amazing. I rarely lose to 1v1s against any class, and I went up against some of the best names in this game and in tournament play. Z, Fantaram, Zeus, a lot more. So it's definitely a solid spec capable of bringing anybody down. First, we'll go through the gem set. I have the Rune of Lissa, which gives you precision, condition, duration, and the 6-piece bonus, which is the most important. When you use an elite skill, lose all conditions, gain all boons for 5 seconds. I call it the ultimate reset, and I use it with a couple different elites. Most of the time I use it with mass invisibility, because when you're facing any condition profession, you can not only go invisible, but you can wipe all boons and gain all buffs. I call it the ultimate reset. Or you can switch to time warp, and not only do you have haste, but you have all buffs. So basically with this rune set of Lissa, what I do is, if I'm in team play, since you get all buffs when you throw down time warp, I would have to give up one of my utilities for Signet of Inspiration, and what that does is copy all your boons to nearby allies. So it's very good synergy with your elite and with your team's burst damage and or stomping. That way everybody gains the Aegis, so it's going to be hard to interrupt them and them blocking attacks and so on and so forth. So the Rune of Lissa and not to mention I am a Shatter / Condition Bleed spec Mesmer. I haven't seen anybody else use this type of spec, if you're wondering, long story short, what the build is. So with the rune set of Lissa, gain all buffs, pop time warp and mass invisibility, and then you share your buffs with your entire team for a limited duration. So back to the gem set. With my sigil on my sword, I run sword, pistol, greatsword. So sigil on the sword is sigil of superior earth, 60% chance of critical and inflict bleeding. Same thing on the greatsword, and then on the pistol I have 50% of your endurance when you swapped your weapon while in combat. And the reason why I have Sigil of Earth on both of these is because I have such a high % chance to crit. I have a 65% chance to crit with the Rampager's Amulet, which gives you power, precision, vite, and condition damage. So you have 2200 precision, 1245 power, 1100 toughness, and 1245 vitality. So going over to the actual spec, I'm 0, 20, 20, 0, 30. And you're probably wondering by now, well, why are you Shatter spec if you don't have anything in power? Well, 200 power is not going to make or break you in any type of 1v1, possibly team fight. I can see a lot of people arguing the fact that I did not spec into the one that removes all your boons on hit, because I actually tried out for Team Paradigm, and the guy told me that if I did not spec 20 into Domination, that he would not pretty much consider me being on the team. However, I did beat him over and over and over, but I guess that still didn't convince him when we dueled 20 times, and I beat him 16 times, and I lost 4. Anyways, so 0, 20, 20, 0, 30. As far as the dueling, you got 2 in Phantasmal Fury, or the 2 slot, and then Deceptive Evasion, create a clone at your current position when you dodge. Chaos, Illusionary Defense, 3% reduced damage for each illusion you have in the world. Mirror of Anguish, very important. When disabled by stun, daze, knockback, knockdown, sink, float, fear, or launch, you mirror to disable back to the source. So basically, when you're in tourney play as a Mesmer, most of the time you're going to be at short point with Portal and then offering assistance to mid. Now, that being said, you're going to be having a lot of 1v1s at short point. So Mirror of Anguish, for me, is almost game breaking. So when you have somebody like a warrior come in and bulls rush you, they don't get any uptime because they take their own CC right back at them. So it's pretty much just negating the first CC they throw at you. So very important in my opinion. Definitely worth putting 20 points into chaos for it. 30 in illusions. I have compounding power, 3% more damage for each of your active illusions, and you're going to be having a lot at one time. Illusionary elasticity. Bouncing attacks have 1 additional bounce. This works really well for facing mirror classes such as Mesmer, just because when you use Mirror Blade, that Mirror Blade is going to be bouncing all over the place. So it's more than likely going to destroy all their clones when you use it, so you have to use it wisely. And illusionary elasticity literally just beefs up, gives you more damage because it gives you an additional bounce. Same thing with magic bullet, and it gives you a because the first target's stunned, second stage, third is blinded, and the fourth one with elasticity is confusion. And the last but not least, illusionary persona. Shattering effects creates the shatter effect on you as well. This is definitely game breaking if for any Mesmer in any duel or team battle at all, just because you can say you can shatter somebody and still use distortion without any clones to get any type of stomp. I mean, you can use any one of your F1 through F4 abilities at your disposal at any time without any clones, so it's very very helpful. So what type of damage does it do? Usually I start with greatsword pistol, and I'll just show you a regular rotation. I'll do it in real time, and then I will slow it down for you, and we'll see where it goes. Alright. So now for the rotation. Basically, I will most of the time start off with magic bullet. Sometimes I'll do an illusionary leap just to see if they're going to dodge or not, depending on the player. So most of the time it's going to be magic bullet into illusionary leap. Then I will dodge. In mid dodge, I will swap places with my clone, therefore creating 3 clones during the burst. Myself counting as the third, so I'll have 1, 2, and then me as the third. And then I will blurred frenzy into a mine rack, into a decoy dodge at the same time. And then while I'm invisible, then I'll cast Phantasmal Duelist, because you don't want to waste your Duelist for this spec to shatter. It's a complete waste, and you want to have them out as long as possible to inflict the bleeds, because the Duelist has 8 attacks, which with a 65% chance to crit. Actually, they have an 85% chance to crit with the Fury, so more than likely they're going to be getting 8 bleeds just for one Duelist. Not to mention, you're throwing in like 3 or 4 because you have a 65% chance to crit with all of your abilities. So once you hit the Duelist, you swap over to Greatsword, you hit the other Berserker while you're still in Viz, and then it's after that point, as far as a rotation, it's really up to you depending on map positioning. I like to throw Mirror Blade first, then Illusionary Lave, then Mind Stab, because you have the time to get them with Mind Stab once they're knocked down. But, I mean, you could hit them with Mind Stab if you are a very good at judging where their positioning is going to be. So that is the overview of my spec. A lot of you are asking probably why I use Greatsword instead of Staff. Is because Greatsword has single greater 1v1 capability, I think, with my setup particularly. Now, it can be argued with a different type of build that the Greatsword or that the Staff would be better than the Greatsword, and I would probably agree with you. But with this spec that I'm running Shatter Bleed, and it's just basically an argument of attack speed, because the Staff does not attack as fast as the Greatsword does. Sure, it gives you boons and stuff like that, but it doesn't attack as fast as Greatsword, plain and simple. You just need the bleed count, because that's what this is. And it really makes up for the damage with the shatters, just because a regular hit to a crit is a lot of damage regardless if you're stacking power or not, in my opinion, but that's just me. Also, if you're looking at this build right now and you've been looking at other people's specs, such as other videos that have a lot of views, such as Dimension or a lot of other people, please don't use those specs, just because they're absolutely fucking horrible in my opinion, and those people don't even know how to make decent builds or Mesmer builds. Like with Dimension, for example, I'll show you the video.
What is up, guys? Dimension here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the ultimate 1v1 Mesmer build. My offhand, I'm using Bloodlust, plus 10 power each time you kill a foe, 20 in dueling, picking up Phantasmal Fury.
He's literally making a Phantasm build, and his gem set is horrible. And another thing that a lot of Mesmers don't know is that Phantasmal Fury and Vengeful Images do not stack at any one time. It's impossible. I don't know if it's a bug and they simply don't know it, but they are fucking retarded because they haven't put in the time into making their specs and actually trying out to see if anything's wrong with it. I have went through every spec of every sword, and this is by far the best for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Please like and share with your friends that are interested about Guild Wars 2 playing a Mesmer. This is Bring Your Friends, and I'm out of here. See you guys.